Imagine an actor who finishes a performance, but refuses to take off the costume. They don't wash away the makeup. They go home, sit down for dinner, and continue playing the character in their real life. Sounds absurd, right? Then why is that exactly how you are living? The truth is, most of us are performing every single minute of our lives. We hold our breath and swallow our opinions at family dinners just to keep the peace. We flash a fake smile at an irritating colleague because we're terrified of being labeled toxic. We pretend to be thrilled by a partner's hobby that bored us to tears years ago. We buy the it dress of the season, even though we can't stand to look at ourselves in the mirror while wearing it. Here is the terrifying paradox of the modern world. You can have everything: the career, the status, the perfect family. You've spent years building a glass facade. It's beautiful, it's polished, and it's designed to give the world exactly what it wants to see. But the problem with a glass house isn't just that it's fragile. The problem is that the more you try to show everyone through these transparent walls how beautiful and clean everything is, the less life remains in that perfection. Every time you betray your truth to gain approval, you aren't just getting along. You are taking out a high-interest loan against your own soul, and that debt, it's starting to pile up. What if the price of your social success is your own absence? What if the very thing you are hiding, your imperfection, is actually the only thing that makes you real? Today, we aren't just talking about self-help. We are talking about a prison break. It's time to stop maintaining the screen and start living beyond it. Because the world doesn't need another perfect mask. The world is starving for one real human being. But here is the question: if the mask we wear is so heavy, why don't we just let it drop? Why do we continue to pay for a glass facade that is bankrupting our joy? It's because of the voice. We aren't born with it, but somehow we've allowed it to become the lead narrator of our lives. This is the inner critic, the most sophisticated saboteur you will ever meet. It doesn't just suggest you might be wrong. It convinces you that you are a mistake. We have become our own most cruel and relentless jailers. We don't just doubt our choices. We have begun to doubt our very right to occupy space in this world as we are. Think about where this voice comes from. It's an echo of every no you heard as a child. It's the ghost of your parents' unfulfilled dreams that they accidentally draped over your shoulders like a heavy lead blanket. It's the toxic comparison culture of social media that tells you your behind-the-scenes life should look like everyone else's highlight reel. You are not your job title. You are not the GPA on your old certificate. You are not the reflection that a biased mirror shows you in the morning. Yet the critic insists that you are these things. And if you fail at them, the critic whispers that you have failed at being a human. We often feel like the ugly duckling in our own social circles. We look at our friends, our colleagues, even strangers on the street, and we think they have the instruction manual for life that we somehow lost. We spend our energy trying to quack like everyone else, terrified that if we show our true feathers, the pond will reject us. But here is the secret the critic doesn't want you to know. The pond is full of other swans pretending to be ducks. Everyone is exhausted from the same act. This inner critic acts like a predatory debt collector for a loan you never signed for. It tells you that you owe the world a version of yourself that is polished, predictable, and polite. But consider the math of your life. For at least 80 years you are stuck with yourself. You are the only person who will be there for every heartbeat, every failure, and every midnight realization. If that relationship, the one between you and yourself, is based on judgment and cruelty, you aren't just living. You are serving a life sentence in a prison where you hold the keys. We have been taught to fear our exotic elements, those strange, beautiful, unclassifiable parts of our personality that don't fit into a LinkedIn bio. We treat our uniqueness like a secret shame. We seek okays and approvals like addicts, checking our phones for the dopamine hit of external validation to silence the internal screaming. But the screaming won't stop until you realize that the critic isn't trying to protect you. It's trying to keep you small enough to fit into the glass house you've built. Every time you silence your true voice to avoid making a scene, you add another brick to the wall. and eventually the wall becomes so thick you can't even hear your own heart anymore. It's time to stop negotiating with the debt collector. It's time to realize that you don't owe anyone a version of yourself that isn't true. There comes a moment in every performer's life when the stage lights become too hot, the script feels like a lie, and the applause sounds like static. This is the breaking point, but we want to offer you a different perspective. This isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. For years you've tolerated the glass facade. You've spent all your energy polishing those transparent walls, making sure everything looked clean and perfect to the outside world. But the problem is that the more you try to show everyone through those transparent walls how beautiful and clean everything is, the less life remains in that perfection. It becomes sterile. It becomes a museum of who you should be, rather than a home for who you are. Eventually you develop an allergy to falsehood. Suddenly, a polite lie feels like a physical weight in your chest. A fake smile feels like a betrayal. You reach a point where the pain of staying hidden is finally greater than the fear of being seen. Let's look at the truth without the sugar coating. Hear the question that might make you feel uncomfortable, perhaps even a little breathless. If you woke up tomorrow and everything you've built was gone, if you lost your job title, your social status, and every single one of your social media accounts was deleted forever, who would be left standing in the mirror? For most of us, that question is terrifying, because we've spent so much time decorating the exterior that we've forgotten to inhabit the interior. We've mistaken our labels for our identity, but here is the secret. The person who remains when everything else is stripped away, that is your true power. That is your worth. And that person doesn't need a LinkedIn profile to have the right to exist. We have been taught that our cracks are flaws to be hidden with more glass and more polish. But have you ever noticed that we don't truly connect with perfect people? We admire them, yes, but we don't love them. We love people for their scars. We love them for the way they've survived the breaking. This is the magnetism of the crack. The moment you stop hiding your struggle, you give everyone else in the room permission to put down their own masks. Your authenticity acts as a lighthouse for other lost ships. When the mirror breaks, you stop asking, "What do they want from me?" and you start asking, "What is trying to live through me?" You stop being a reflection and start being a source. It takes immense courage to stand in the ruins of your perfect life and admit that you are finally ready to be real. But remember, you cannot build a true home on a foundation of lies. The breaking is the first step toward belonging, not to the world, but to yourself. So what does it actually mean to be authentic? It's a word that gets thrown around a lot in self-help, but let's strip away the cliches. Authenticity isn't a destination you reach where you're suddenly perfectly yourself, 24/7. Authenticity is a daily practice of courage. It is the brave decision to be real rather than ideal. To be a real person, a real man, a real woman, isn't about fulfilling a stereotype of strength or beauty. It's about the courage to say, "I don't have the answer," or "I am hurting," or "I actually don't agree with any of you." It's about reclaiming your right to be a complex, multi-dimensional human being instead of a two-dimensional character in someone else's story. We often think our glitches, our quirks, our odd interests, our emotional outbursts are the things we need to fix. But in the world of authenticity, these are your exotic elements. They are your signature. Trying to be what others want you to be isn't just exhausting, it's a form of theft. You are stealing your unique gift from the world. Most people live by a map, a pre-drawn route created by society, parents, and peers. They follow the lines and wonder why they feel lost. Authenticity is throwing away the map and using a compass. The compass doesn't tell you exactly where to go, but it tells you which direction is true. And as long as you are walking toward your truth, you can never be lost. When you define yourself by your internal compass rather than external maps, your worth stops being a variable. It becomes a constant. You stop asking for permission to exist. You simply exist. Breaking the mirror was the act of courage. But what comes next is the work of a lifetime. Welcome to the laboratory. This is where we stop talking about authenticity as a concept and start practicing it as a discipline. We aren't building a new you, we are digging for the original. Step 1. The audit of stolen goods. The first practical step is to identify what we call stolen goods. These are the beliefs, habits, and even dreams that you've carried for years but never actually owned. Ask yourself, is this my ambition, or is it the ghost of my father's expectations? Do I actually enjoy this lifestyle, or am I just afraid of the silence that would follow if I stopped? In the laboratory, we put every must and every should under the microscope. If it doesn't resonate with your core frequency, it's a stolen good. Give it back. You don't owe it any more of your life. Step 2. Embracing the exotic elements. Remember those glitches we talked about. Your strange sense of humor, your obsession with a niche hobby, the way you speak when you're truly excited. The world taught you to prune these branches so you could fit into the social hedge. In the laboratory, we do the opposite. We fertilize the exotic. Start a small truths practice. Once a day, say something that is 100% true for you, even if it's inconvenient. Tell someone you don't like the movie. Everyone is praising. Admit you're tired when you're supposed to be networking. These small sparks of honesty are the scouts you send out to reclaim your territory. Step 3. The restoration of the masterpiece. This is a slow process. You cannot undo 20 years of acting in 20 minutes of meditation. You have to be a patient restorer. When you feel that inner critic, that predatory debt collector, approaching, you don't fight it. Fighting creates more noise. Instead, you observe it. You say, I see you, I know why you're here. You're trying to protect the old mask, but we don't live there anymore. Step 4. The magnetism of the real. The final part of the laboratory is testing your new frequency in the real world. This is where most people get scared. They fear that if they become authentic, they will lose everyone. And here is the hard truth. You will lose people, you will lose those who were only in love with your mask. But the vacancy they leave creates a vacuum that can only be filled by people who resonate with the real you. This is the magnetism of the real. You stop being a mirror that reflects others, and you start being a sun that generates its own light. Self-excavation isn't about finding a perfect version of yourself. It's about finding the honest version, the version that is messy, vibrant, and most importantly, alive. Your authenticity is the only thing you have that is truly yours. Don't leave it buried under the rubble of other people's opinions. Dig, clean, restore. The masterpiece is waiting. It's time to admit that we're sold a lie. We were told that in order to be loved, we had to be seamless. We were told that every crack in our character, every failure in our past, and every imperfection in our personality had to be filled with the epoxy of social compliance. We thought that if we became a smooth, polished surface, people would finally be able to see themselves in us. But the opposite is true. You cannot hold on to a surface that has no grip. Think about the people you truly admire. Not the celebrities you follow for their aesthetics, but the humans who have actually changed your life. Did you connect with them because of their flawless success? No, you connected with them the moment they admitted they were struggling. You fell in love with their scars. In the laboratory of the self, we must learn to embrace the magnetism of scars. Our imperfections are not obstacles to connection. They are the bridges to it. Perfection is a wall. Vulnerability is a doorway. When we have the courage to be imperfect, we stop being a statue and start being a sanctuary. Have you ever noticed the collective sigh of relief in a room when someone finally admits, I have no idea what I'm doing? That is the power of authenticity. It is a biological frequency that humans are wired to detect. We can smell a fake man or a fake woman from a mile away, and while we might respect their polish, we will never trust their heart. We often mistake armoring up for strength. We think that by being cold, distant, and put together, we are protecting our worth. But that isn't strength, it's fear. Real strength is the ability to stand in front of the world, without the it dress, without the job title, without the social media filters, and say, this is me, I am messy, I am a work in progress, and I am enough. There is a Japanese art called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The philosophy is that the piece is more beautiful because it was broken. The gold doesn't hide the cracks, it highlights them. We need to treat our souls like kintsugi, those times we failed, those ugly duckling years, those moments we were not friends with ourselves. Those are the gold-filled cracks that make our light unique. When we stop hiding our imperfections, we stop being ghosts in our own lives. We finally take up space. We finally breathe. Because the most exhausted version of you is the one trying to be perfect. The most powerful version of you is the one who finally dares to be real. We have reached the final frontier of our journey. We have looked at the glass facade. We have audited our stolen goods. And we have embraced the magnetism of our scars. But now, we must answer the most important question of all. Why does this matter? Is this just about feeling better? Is it just about self-care and quiet nights? No, this is about a revolution. We must realize that our uniqueness is not just a personal luxury, it is a cosmic responsibility. Within us, there is a specific frequency, a way of seeing the world, and a way of loving people that has never existed before and will never exist again. If we do not find the courage to express that uniqueness, it will die with us. It will remain unexpressed, locked behind that sterile glass wall forever. The world will be permanently poorer because we chose to be safe instead of true. We aren't just hiding ourselves, we are withholding a gift that only we can give. We often think that focusing on our own self-worth is selfish, but the truth is exactly the opposite. When we stop being friends with our own shadows, we have no light to give to others. When we live in solitary confinement within our own minds, we are too exhausted to truly love. But the moment we start to belong to ourselves, to our own hearts, and our own messy, beautiful lives, everything changes. When we have compassion for our own ugly duckling phases, we suddenly find ourselves overflowing with compassion for everyone else. Authenticity is the only bridge to real intimacy. It enables us to love the people around us more deeply, not because they are perfect, but because we finally know what it's like to be real. We need a revolution, not one fought with weapons or politics, but a revolution of self-worth. Imagine a world where we stop asking for permission to exist. Imagine a workplace where people lead with their values instead of their titles. Imagine a home where children are taught that their exotic elements are their greatest assets, not things to be pruned away. We are the ones who bring meaning to our lives. We are not our birth certificates. We are not the identities our parents draped over us, and we are certainly not the curated shadows we post online. We are individual, powerful, magical, and creative beings. It's time to stop maintaining the facade. It's time to stop paying the debt collector of our inner critic. Today we look in the mirror, the broken, real, honest mirror, and we finally say, I am who I am good enough, and I am finally home. The masterpiece has been restored. Now go out and let the world see the colors. But remember, this journey doesn't end when this video stops. Breaking free from the glass facade is a practice we commit to every single day. If you felt a spark today, then you belong here with us. We are building a community dedicated to self-discovery, deep psychological diving, and the relentless search for authenticity. We have many more videos coming that explore the mechanics of the soul and the path to true self-worth. If you're ready to stop hiding and start being, hit the subscribe button and join our journey. Let's explore the depths together. Before you go, we want to hear from you. We've all played roles we didn't want to play. In the comments below, tell us what is one mask or role you are choosing to drop today. Maybe it's being the perfect employee, the people pleaser, or the one who always has it together. Name it. By writing it down, you take the first step toward leaving it behind. Your story might be the very thing that gives someone else the permission to be real.